Ang nag-imbento ng calculus ay si Sir Isaac Newton ng taong 1642 hanggang 1727. Hindi lang si Sir Isaac Newton ang nag-imbento ng calculus dahil tinulungan din siya ni Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz sa taon na 1646 hanggang 1716. Ano nga ba yung calculus? Calculus is the concept that deals with the notion of limit, that is, with the values approached by non-finite sequence of numbers. Meron dalawang type ang calculus. Ang una is differential calculus. Ang formula ng differential calculus ay the limitation of delta y all over delta x when delta x is approaches to 0, and it is also equal to the limitation of f quantity x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x, at equal din to sa the derivative of y with respect to dx. Ang pangalawang uri ng calculus ay integral calculus. Ang integral calculus ay may dalawang uri. Ang una is indefinite integral, which is yung wala tayong nililimit na number. At yung pangalawa naman is definite integral, meron na tayong nililimit na sequence. When we say differential calculus, is the mathematics of variation of a function with respect to change in independent variables, the study of slope curves, accelerations, maxima and minima by means of derivatives and differentials. When we say relation, is a set of ordered pairs of real numbers such that the set of all first coordinate of the ordered pairs is called domain of the relation, and the set of all second coordinate is called range of the relation. Function is a relation in which no two ordered pairs have the same first coordinate. Every function will be denoted by the symbol, usually a letter, capital F and small f, capital G and small g, and capital H and small h. And x is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable. For example, y is equal to 2x plus 1. Susunod natin gagawin yan is gagawa tayo ng table of value. Ang susunod naman natin gagawin is magsusubstitute lang tayo. If x is equals to 0, substitute lang natin, at ang kalalabasan is y is equal to 2 times 0 plus 1, and it is equals to 1. So, ang first coordinate natin is 0 to 1. Sunod naman, if x is equals to 1, substitute lang ulit natin. Therefore, y is equal to 2 multiplied by 1 plus 1, and it is equals to 3. Therefore, ang second coordinate natin is 1 and 3. Pangatlo, ganun lang ulit, substitute lang ulit natin. Y is equals to 2 multiplied by 2 plus 1 is equal to 5. Therefore, ang third coordinate natin is 2 and 5. Sa pang-apat, ganun lang din, substitute. Y is equals to 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1 is equals to 7. Therefore, ang fourth coordinate natin is 3 and 7. Ayan, pagkatapos makuha yung apat na coordinate, igagraph naman natin siya para makakita natin kung ano yung... Ayan, pagkatapos natin makuha yung apat na coordinates, igagraph naman natin siya. Ayan, ang susunod naman, pag nakuha natin yung apat na coordinate, is gagawa tayo ng graph para makita natin yung function. Sa pagkuha naman ng graph is madali lang. Pagtatapat-tapatin lang natin siya para makita natin yung lalabas siya ng function. Ang aanuhin natin dito is yung y-axis and x-axis. Ang y-axis etong patayo, and ang x-axis etong pahiga, horizontal. Sa una natin is 0 and 1. Hanapin natin yung x sa 0 and then yung y is 1. Kaya dito siya mapupunta. Sa pangalawa naman is ang x natin is 1 tapos ang y natin is 3. Pagtatapatin lang siya kaya dito mapupunta. Ganun din sa pangatlo at sa pang-apat. Ito 2 and 5 and 3 and 7. Ayan, sunod naman natin is example number 2. Given natin is y equals square root of 2x plus 1. Ganun lang ulit, same process lang ulit. Substitute lang natin yung mga given ng x. Ayan, ang una nating isa-substitute is yung negative 3. So, ang kalalabasan nito is square root of 2 multiply by negative 3 plus 1 is equal to 5. Square root of 5. So, wala namang square root yung 5, kaya ang ilalagay natin dyan, undefined siya, kaya ang ilalagay natin sa kanya is infinite. Ganun ulit sa pangalawa, substitute lang natin yung negative 2. Square root of 2 multiply by negative 2 plus 1. 2 multiplied by negative 2 is equals to negative 4 plus 1 is equals to 3. Square root of 3. So, wala namang square root yung 3, kaya ang ilalagay lang ulit natin is yung infinite. So, pangatlo, ganun lang ulit. Isa-substitute lang natin ulit yung negative 1. Square root of 2 multiplied by negative 1 plus 1 is equals to square root of negative 1. So, wala namang, undefined naman yung negative 1, kaya ang ilalagay lang ulit natin is infinite. Same process lang ulit, substitute natin, and then yung square root of 2 multiplied by 0 plus 1 is equal to square root of 1. Ang square root ng 1 is 1 lang din, kaya ang ilalagay natin doon is 1. Sa panglima naman, ganun lang ulit, square root of 2 multiplied by 1 plus 1 is equals to square root of 3. Kaya ang ilalagay lang din natin is square root of 3. Ngayon naman is i-graph na natin siya para makita natin yung function. Etong tatlo na to, di na natin siya kailangan i-graph dahil undefined na siya. Etong dalawa na lang na to ang i-graph natin. So, hanapin natin yung x is nasa 0 and then yung y is 1. Kaya eto siya. And then yung pangalawa naman is ang x natin is 1 tapos square root of 3. Ang square root of 3 natin is 1.73. So, andito yung 1.73. Kaya dito natin itatapat. So, ganito yung function natin. Ayan, classification of function naman. Yung classification of function, madami siyang Ayan, classification of function. Sa classification of functions, madami siyang kinocompose. Yung function, ang kinocompose niya is algebraic. Sa algebraic naman, ang kinocompose is rational and irrational. Then sa rational, ang kinocompose is integral and fractional. Dito naman tayo sa transcendental. Ang kinocompose niya is elementary and higher. Sa elementary, ang kinocompose is trigonometric, inverse trigonometric, exponential, and logarithmic. And example number 1 tayo. Let f of x is equal to 2x plus 4. Find f of 0, f of 1, and f of negative 2. Ayan, substitute lang ulit natin. 2 multiplied by 0 plus 4 is equal to 4. So, ang coordinate niya ngayon is 0 and 4. Sa pangalawa na naman is substitute lang ulit natin. 2 multiplied by 1 plus 4 is equals to 6. So, ang coordinate na to is 1 and 6. Sa pangatlo naman is 2 multiplied by negative 2 plus 4 is equals to 6. So, ang coordinate natin dito is negative 2 and 0. Ayan, next topic naman tayo. Operation with functions. Ang una natin is given two functions. y1 equals to f of x and y2 is equals to g of x. Ang una naman natin dito is sum of two functions. y1 plus y2 equals to f of x plus g of x equals to quantity f plus g of x. Dito naman is pag-a-addin lang natin yung dalawang function. Dito naman tayo sa letter B. Difference of two functions. Parang ganun lang din siya. Ang pinagkaiba lang is pag sinabi nating difference is pag ma-minusin natin yung dalawang function. Okay, ganun lang din sa letter C. Product of two functions. When we say product, pag multiply lang natin yung dalawang function. And ganun din sa letter D. Quotient of two function. When we say function, i-divide lang natin yung dalawang function. Ayan, example number 1 naman tayo. Example number 1, let f of x equals to x cubed minus 4 and g of x equals to x cubed minus x minus 2. So, ang gagamitin natin dito is sum of two functions. Kaya naman, pagpaplasin lang natin siya, x cubed plus x cubed equals 2x cubed. Tapos, sunod natin is etong negative x. Isusulat lang ulit natin siya as negative x. Tapos, susunod natin is negative 4 plus negative 2 equals negative 6. Kaya ang sagot natin is 2x cubed minus x minus 6. Dito naman tayo sa letter V. Difference naman to. Pag ma-minus natin siya. So, eto, pag ma-minusin natin, x cube minus x cube, kakancel na natin siya. And then, eto naman, negative multiply by negative x equals to positive x. Sunod natin is, negative multiply by negative 2 equals positive 2. So, negative 4 minus positive 2 is equals to negative 2. Sunod naman natin is product. So, ang una natin is pag multiply natin to, eto. Tapos dito naman is dito. So, sa una tayo is x cube multiply by x cube equals x raised to 6. Sunod natin is x cube multiply by negative 2 equals negative 2x cube. Sunod natin is x cube multiply by negative x equals negative x raised to 4. Tapos dito naman tayo sa kabila is negative 4 multiply by x cube equals negative 4x cube. Sunod natin is negative 4 multiply by negative 2 equals positive 8. Ang huli natin is negative 4 multiply by negative x equals positive. Dahil negative multiply by negative equals positive. So, dito naman is pagpaplasin lang natin yung magkamukha. Magkamukha ng nasa taas. Ito, yung 2x cube tapos 4x cube. Kaya, ang magiging final answer natin is x raised to 6 minus x4 minus 6x cubed plus 4x plus 8. Next naman natin is composition of functions. Let f and g be functions. The composition of f with g is denoted by f circle g. Example number 1. Let f of x equals to x squared minus 4 and g of x equals to x squared minus x minus 2. So, sa example number 1 natin is compute for the f of g of x. Dito naman, isi-simplify lang natin siya para makuha natin yung tamang sagot. So, dito tayo magsisimula. I-multiply lang natin siya by itself. So, ang kalalabasan na ito is x raised to 4. And dito naman is, pag multiply lang natin siya ng dalawang beses, so, x squared. Tapos, yung negative yung sign niya. Negative multiply by negative equals positive. Kaya, magiging positive siya. Tapos, dito is, multiply lang din sa kanyang sarili, equals to 4. And then, negative multiply by negative equals positive. And then, ibaba lang natin to, minus 4. So, eto makakancel na. Sugot natin is x4 plus x squared. Pwede pa natin yung pag-plusin. Hanapin natin yung factor niya. So, ang magiging sagot nato is x squared quantity x squared plus 1. Ito na ang ating final answer. Ayan, next naman natin is functions as mathematical models. Example number 1. The perimeter of the rectangle is 60 feet. Express its area as a function of length of the side. So, ang given natin dito is 60 feet perimeter of the rectangle. So, ang gagawin natin dito is let L be the length and W be width. So, ang condition natin is yung perimeter is 60 feet. So, yung 60 feet natin is equals din siya sa 2L plus 2 width. Tapos, pwede pa natin siyang pag-equitin. So, 60 equals to 2 quantity L multiplied by W. So, dito, ang hinahanap natin is W. Kaya, ililipat natin yung 2 dito. So, magiging 60 over 2 equals to L multiplied by W. Tapos, ang magiging sagot nato is lilipat pa rin natin yung W dito. W is equals to 60 divided 2 is 30 L. So, magiging minus to. Tapos, ang magiging ano natin is area equals to length quantity 30 minus L. Ayan, next topic naman natin is function, limits, and continuity. Part pa rin to nung unit 1, part 2 na to, part 2. So, ang sunod natin is limits. It's tell us the value that a function approaches as that function's input gets closer and closer to some numbers. The idea of a limit is the basis of all calculus. So, ito yung formula niya. The limits of f of x as x approaches to a is always equals to L. So, example number 1 tayo is f of x equals to 6 over x. So, alam naman natin na ang domain is x must not be equals to 0. Therefore, all real numbers except 0. So, sa pag-compute naman ng ranges, alam natin na yung y is the element of all real numbers or all real numbers except to 0. So, para makuha natin yung graph is gumawa tayo ng table of value. So, ang ginawa natin is kahit ano ilagay natin basta wag lang 0. So, etong lahat ng ano na to, pag sinubstitute natin dito, ito ang magiging sagot. Ayan, ganyan yung magiging graph natin. So, ayan, ang next natin is theorem of limits. Theorem number 1. The limits of a constant as x approaches a is the constant. So, eto yan. The limits of c as x approaches to a is equals to c. So, example number 1 tayo. Kapag ang given natin is constant lang din, halimbawa ganito is the limits of 6 as x approaches to 2. So, 6 is constant. So, ang magiging sagot lang din natin dyan is 6. So, example number 2 ulit tayo. So, ang given natin is negative 4. Constant lang din yung given number natin. So, ang magiging sagot lang din natin is negative 4. Ayan. Theorem number 2 tayo. The limits of the sum of two or more functions is equals to the sum of their limits. So, dito naman is pagpaplasin lang yung dalawang functions. Ito siya. The limits of f of x plus g of x as x approaches to a is also equals to the limits of f of x as x approaches to a plus the limits of g of x as x approaches to a. Ayan, example tayo. Limits of 2 minus x as x approaches to 4. So, paghihiwalayin lang natin siya na parang ganito. Limits of 3 as x approaches 4 minus limits of x as x approaches to 4. Ayan, 2 pala to. Ginawa ko siyang 2. So, eto, magiging sagot lang natin dito is 2. And then, minus siya dito. Tapos, eto, papalitan lang natin ng 4 yung x. So, magiging negative 4. Tapos, ang magiging final answer natin is negative 2. Theorem number 3. The limits of a product of two or more functions is equal to the product of their limits. So, ganito lang yan. The limits of f of x multiplied by g of x as x approaches to 0 is equals to the limits of f of x as x approaches to a multiplied to the limits of g of x as x approaches to a. So, ganito lang yan. Pag-ihiwalayin lang natin siya. The limits of 4 as x approaches to 2 multiply the limits of x as x approaches to 2. So, dito, constant. Then dito, isa-substitute lang natin. So, ang sagot natin is 8. Ayan, theorem number 4 tayo. The limits of the quotient of two functions is equals to the quotient of their limits. So, ganito lang yan. The limitation of f of x all over g of x as x approaches to a is also equals to the limitation of f of x as x approaches to a all over to the limitation of g of x as x approaches to a. So, dito, ang tatandaan nyo lang is hindi magsisiro ang denominator. So, example number 1 tayo. Ang given natin is the limitation of f of x all over 5x minus 3 as x approaches to 3. So, dito naman is i-apply lang natin yung theorem 2 and 3. So, dito is paghihiwalayin muna natin sila. So, ito kalalabasan. And then, sunod naman is yung theorem number 3. Ito yung kakalabasan. Susunod dito is yung aanayin na natin. So, dito is kukompute na natin siya. The limitation of x as x approaches to 3 is equals to 3. So, sunod dito is yung 4, constant siya. So, ilalagay lang natin yung 4. All over, constant ulit yung 5. And then yung x is 3. And then yung huli is constant, so negative 3. So equals negative 1 all over 5 multiplied by 3 is equals to 15 minus 3. So negative 1, then 15 minus 3 is 12. So eto na yung magiging sagot natin. Ayan, next natin is corollary. If the limits of the denominator of the quotient is 0, letter A, the limits of the numerator of the quotient is also 0, the quotient may or may not have a limit. Letter B, the limits of the numerator of the quotient is not 0, the quotient has no limit. So, example number 1 tayo. So, dito, i-apply lang natin yung theorem 1 hanggang 4. Tapos, isi-simplify na natin. 2 squared is equals to 4. Then, plus 2 minus 4 equals all over 2 squared 4. Then, 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. Then, plus 8 equals plus 6 pala to, plus 6. So, equals 4 plus 2 is 6. Minus 4 equals 2. And then, 4 minus 12 is negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. So, dito, nakuha natin sagot is eto. So, hindi 0 yung denominator natin and numerator. So, the quotient has no limit. So, sunod natin topic is infinite discontinuities. If a function increases without bound as x approaches to a, then that function has infinite discontinuity. X equals to a. Ayan. So, ganito lang siya. The limitation of f of x when delta x is approaches to positive a is equals to positive or negative infinite. So, paano naman to kapag the limitation of f of x when delta x is approaches to negative a equals to positive or negative infinite? Ayan, sunod natin is limit at infinity. A function of f of x may have infinite limits even when the independent variable becomes infinite. The statement x become infinite is expressed as x approaches to infinite. Ayan, example tayo. The limitation of 1 over x as x approaches to infinite is always equals to 0. Ganun din sa number 2. The limitation of 4 as x approaches to infinite is equals to 0. Next natin is derivative of algebraic functions. Derivatives in mathematics, the rate of change of functions with respect to a variable. Derivatives are fundamental to the resolution of a problem in calculus and differential equation. So, symbol natin is dy over dx and d of x with respect to dx and y prime f of x dxy dx f of x. Sunod natin is 3-step rule. Number 1 is perform. Number 2 is divide. And step 3 is set limit as mali. So, next topic natin is derivative of algebraic functions. Derivative in mathematics, the rate of change of a function with respect to the variable derivatives are fundamental to the solution of problems in calculus and differential equation. Next natin is symbol. The derivative of y with respect to dx is also equals to the derivative of f of x with respect to dx is also equals to y prime and also equals to f of prime of x, and also equals to dxy, and also equals to dx of f of x. Then, sunod natin yung 3-step rule. Number 1 is perform. So, delta y equals to f quantity x plus delta x minus f of x. Then, step 2 is divide. Delta y over delta x equals to f quantity x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. And step 3 is set limit as delta x approaches to 0. Then the limitation of f quantity x plus delta x all over delta x as delta x approaches to 0. So, example number 1. Yung given natin is 2x minus 4. So, ang una ng step natin is perform. So, susulat tayo ng delta y is equals to lahat daw ng letter x natin is lalagyan natin ng plus delta x. So, eto 2x plus delta x minus 4. And then, tapos, minus f of x. Ang f of x natin is eto. So, ima-minus natin siya. 2x minus 4. So, ayan, simplify na natin. Equals 2 multiplied by x is 2x plus 2 multiplied by delta x is 2 delta x minus 4, and then negative multiplied by 2x is negative 2x. Then negative multiplied by negative 4 equals positive 4. So, kung makikita nyo is may makakancel na dyan. Eto, cancel. Eto, cancel. So, ang matitira na lang natin is 2 delta x. Ayan, step 2 na tayo. So, i-divide lang natin siya sa delta x. So, ang nakuha natin is 2 delta x. Divide lang natin siya sa delta x. So, ang magiging sagot is 2. And then, step 3 tayo. Step 3. So, step 3 is set lang natin yung limit as delta x approaches to 0. So, mag-set tayo ng limit delta x as delta x approaches to 0. And then, the limitation of, ano yung nakuha natin sagot? 2. And then, delta x approaches to 0. So, constant to. So, ang magiging sagot natin is 2. Ito na yung final answer natin. So, next natin is differentiation formulas. Una is derivative of constant. So, dito naman is kahit anong number, basta dinerivative mo is 0 ang sagot. Ayan, next natin is derivative of power of x. So, ang formula dito is the derivative of x raised to n all over derivative of x is equals to nx raised to n minus x. Ayan, example number 1 na tayo. Given natin is y equals x squared. So, gagamitin lang natin yung formula na to. So, ang given natin is x squared. Ibababa lang natin yung exponent ng x. So, ito siya magiging 2. And then, rewrite the x x, and then yung exponent is 2, ma-minus natin sa 1. So, ang magiging sagot, 2x. Kaya ang y prime natin is 2x. And next naman natin is derivative of sum of two functions. So, ang formula natin is derivative of quantity u plus v with respect to dx is equals to derivative of u with respect to dx plus derivative of v with respect to dx. And example number 1 natin is, yung given is x cubed minus square root of x plus 1. So, ang sunod natin dyan gagawin is i-derivative lang natin. And then, pagkatapos i-derivative, pag-ihiwalay-hiwalay natin siya ng naka-derivative. So, ang kalalabasan yan, pag dinerivative natin yung x cube, ang kalalabasan nato is 3x squared minus yung sign, and then ano yung derivative ng square root of x? So, 1/2 x, and then negative 1/2. Ang sunod natin is plus derivative ng 1 is pagka constant always 0. So, magiging sagot natin is 3x squared minus 1 over 2 square root of x. Ito na yung final answer natin. Ayan. Sunod natin is derivative of product of two functions. So, ang formula niya is derivative of quantity u multiplied by v all over dx is also equals to u derivative of v all over dx plus v derivative of u all over dx. So, example number 1 tayo. Ang given natin is quantity x raised to 4 minus 2 multiplied by quantity x cube plus 1. So, i-derivative muna natin siya. So, dy over dx equals, susulat natin yung u. Ito, u. X raised to 4 minus 2. And then, derivative natin yung v. Ito yung letter v. Ito yung u. Ito yung v. So, derivative ng v is x cubed plus 1 and then, sunod natin is yung v x cubed plus 1. Derivative natin yung u. U natin is x raised to 4 minus 2. So, sisimplify na natin siya. Retain lang tong x raised to 4 minus 2. Then, ang derivative ng x cube is 3x, then minus 1 squared. Derivative ng 1, so constant siya is 0 plus 0. Tapos, pag natin kakalimutan pala yung plus sign, retain lang natin yung x cube plus 1. Then, derivative na to is 4x cube. Tapos, constant, 0. Ayan. Tapos, ayusin lang natin, multiply lang natin. X raised to 4 multiplied by 3x squared is 3x raised to 6. Then, negative 2 multiplied by 3x squared equals negative 6x squared. And then, multiply lang ulit to. x cubed multiplied by 4x cubed is equals to 4x raised to 6. And then 1 multiplied by 4x cubed is 4x cubed. Yan na yung tamang sagot. Ito na yung final answer. Ayan. So, ayan, next natin is derivative of quotient of two functions. So, ang formula is derivative of quantity u over v all over dx equals to v derivative of u all over dx minus u derivative of v all over dx and all over v squared. And next natin is general power formula. So, y equals to u raised to n when u is equals to f of x. So, magagamit natin itong general power formula kapag yung mga given natin is matataas yung raise. So, ayan, chain rule na tayo. Yung 1 is if y equals f of u and u equals f of x, then dy over du multiplied by du over dx, etong du parehas makakancel na, kaya dy all over dx. So, ang pangalawa naman natin is if y equals f of u and x equals f of u, then dy over dx natin is equals to derivative of y with respect to du all over the derivative of x with respect to du. Du pala to, du. Yan. So, sa pangatlo naman, if x is equals to f of y, then the derivative of y all over with respect to dx is equals to 1 all over the derivative of x with respect to dy. Okay, yan. Next naman natin is higher order derivatives. So, ang given natin is y is equals to f of x. First derivative natin is the derivative of y with respect to dx is equals to first derivative of f of x equals to y prime. Then the second derivative natin is the second derivative of f of x with respect to dx is equals to, tapos third derivative natin is third derivative of y with respect to dx cube equals to third derivative of f of x with respect to dx cube. So, ayan, example number 1 tayo. 2x raised to 4 minus 4x cube plus 2x squared minus 4x minus 10. Yun yung given natin. So, ayan, kunin natin yung first derivative. So, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. And then, bring down the ax. Tapos, minus 1 is 3. Kaya, 8x cubed. And then, sunod naman natin is 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. And then, minus 1 lang ulit yung exponent natin. Kaya, squared. Tapos, 4x. 2 multiplied by 2. And then, eto, 4 pala to, 4. Yan. Tapos, eto, constant. Kaya, 0. Hindi na natin siya sasama. And then, sunod naman natin is yung second derivative. And then, ang sunod natin is 3 multiplied by 8 is 24. And then, 24x plus minus 1 is x squared. minus 2 multiplied by 12 is 24x plus 4. So, sunod natin kukunin is yung third derivative. So, 24 multiplied by 2 is 48. 48x minus 24. Tapos, eto, constant, 0 na siya. And then, pang-apat natin is, yung fourth derivative natin is 48. 48. Ito na yung final answer natin. 48. Yan. Ayan. Last topic natin is implicit differentiation. Rule, differentiate each term of the equation f quantity x and y equals 0 with respect to x, considering y to be a function of x. So, ayan, last topic natin is implicit differentiation. Rule is differentiate each term of the equation f quantity x and y equals 0 with respect to x, considering y to be a function of x.